Let's take a look at the PixelDrink video now. PixelDrink the Unforgivable. This video has 4,000 views. A lot more actually than... Jesus, this video kind of is blowing up a little bit in the small community.
Man, I'm hella spiritual, my soul is nothing to fuck with. Woke up with
it was a running joke
of naked children. Is that what he was drawing?
Don't get involved in altercations, got too much fame for this shit, made so much money, I forgot about like who paid for this.
And he was like, all right, take your clothes off. And I was like, no. He was like, what, you thought you were gonna come over to my house and I wasn't gonna rape you?
I do not socialize.
Jesus. All right, well. We're off to a start here.
With these rappers, I just destroy you. More times are good, I do not pull my phone out, I enjoy you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be retiring this whole thing, and I'll tell you why. Because today I am the content cop.
Nigga, go boxing ring, faggot.
So, how you guys doing? It's me, your boy Addy, aka Cop.
Jesus
Today we're going to be talking about the two dumbest people I've...
Thank God I just decided to stream today on YouTube. Holy shit, there's like 3 slurs in the first intro. It's Connor. Good one.
ever seen on the internet, that being Tentacles and his brother PixelDrink. Now, to add some much needed context, PixelDrink is a TikToker who got big off doing My Hero Academia voice impressions.
And you already know that I'm flexed up.
No doctor, but I got my
I'll tell you what.
Wait, that's what he uploads?
Get what you fucking deserve.
Unironically, that was so ass. And Tentacles is a commentary YouTuber who I looked up to a lot. I would even talk about him on podcasts. I even got hate for supporting him.
That Advil guy name dropped Technicals in an episode who was definitely working on a Hacks Did Nothing Wrong video.
They were both a part of the Smash community. Tentacles making commentary videos revolving around the Smash community, calling out people like Esam, Risu, Nairo, people in that regard, and PixelDrink making My Hero Academia TikTok videos. God, I hate this stupid hat. The original, the classic. But the reason I'm talking about them right now is not because they're great and fabulous. This isn't a dick-sucking video. This video is a criticism video. Surprising, I know. So what do I have to criticize about some of the best content creators on equal platforms right now? Well, Tentacles and Pixel have gotten into a lot of hot water recently. Tentacles made a video on Zero, one of, if not the best Smash 4 player of all time. And in that video, he talked about his allegations with Katie. Katie was a 14-year-old girl at the time, and Zero had sexual talks with her when he was above age. And he said to her that, actually, I'm gonna just play the Augie clip.
Bro, shoving ice cubes up their pussy. You like 14-year-olds shoving ice cubes up their pussy.
No one said that, but you definitely
if you're gonna be
agree with
dishonest to me, I'll say
That's
everything
not
I want to say
dishonest.
about you. That told a 14-year-old to shove ice cubes up her pussy should be
You're
allowed to
mad
make
weird.
videos for children.
So yeah, basically Zero told...
Jesus Christ. The audio like cutting out makes me sound so retarded in that clip.
her too.
Just shove ice cubes up her pussy.
And his defense was that this was only a one-time thing. He did not talk to any other minors. It was purely just this.
Our question is Zero a pedophile? But when it comes to a label that would suggest past, present, future, and potential harm of children, I think it's important to make sure that the shoe fits nice and snug. Even after gaining significantly more money and more access to minors, there's been no new cases.
Which I believe is a very valid point. If you have the same brain capacity as the Ralphator, the argument is so astronomically stupid that I don't even know how to argue it. Because if you use that logic in real life, in the law, which Tentacles loves to do, half the people that get arrested for one count of pedophilia should not get arrested. But someone who is a million times worse than Zero is PixelDrink. So let's talk about...
Okay, the allegations. This is what I want to hear.
PixelDrink, also known as BJ, also known as Turtle SSB, was a Super Smash Bros. Coach for the team Shogunate Gaming. He used to coach the players in the Las Vegas area, because that's where him and Tech are from, and he was pretty good at it. He was nice, charismatic, he was funny, people enjoyed his company. Seemed like a nice guy. Then, everything changed when the pedophiles attacked. Okay, that's a bit too much. Now, this is the portion I'm going to be talking about PixelDrink's allegations against him, and just...
This guy's got a pretty decent format, honestly. Like, I actually really dig it. Like, he doesn't have the best voice for it, but that's something you can improve. But I actually kind of like dig the style that he has for these videos. It reminds me of somebody, but almost iDubbbz vibes, but not exactly. I don't know. It reminds me of another YouTuber I used to watch. That's kind of stopped making videos in this style. But yeah, I actually like dig this so far. Some people might think it's annoying or something, but I don't know. I think this has a lot of potential.
Just general facts against him. And to make it hit close to home and, you know, feel like a safe environment for tech and pics, I'm going to cover it the same way Tentacles would. So let me just... See? I thought it was kind of clever. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list off each one of the allegations made against PixelDrink and cover what happened, his or Technical's response, and just kind of try to dispute as much as possible. So
by the way, later in the video, he actually like interviews like one of the girls, which I think half the video is actually like a interview. Yeah, there's like a decent segment of it.
Let's get started. So for our first point, let's talk about probably the most mainstream and big. You know, after he sold out to the industry, the man... That was so stupid. Let's talk about the most well-known accusation so far, the group chat. So what is the group chat? Well, the group chat is a group chat. So the group chat was a chat made out of Technical's crew, which involved high schoolers, Pixel, and all the other coaches that were in Shogun 8 Gaming. The group chat was usually really busy. There was people talking all the time. It was very active. And BJ, who was one of the coaches at the time, was very active in the chat. He had friends in there. He talked to these kids pretty much every day. So the point of the group chat was to get as many...
Wow. He talked to these kids pretty much every day. Jesus Christ. The fucking writing in this.
People in the Las Vegas area to just hang out and interact, set up friendlies, tournaments, stuff like that. If you've been paying attention to Augie or Nicholas Theorio recently, you know that it's a little bit more than that. And this group chat was filled with minors. Like pretty much everyone in there was a minor. And Technical's brother thought it'd be a really good joke if he sent a dick pic, lewd images himself, and lolly porn of two of the minors in the group chat. He's a pretty good comedian. He's up there with Bill Cosby and Louis C.K. And so when Augie and Nick called out Technicals and his brother for these past actions, they had this to say. So the defense that Technicals brought up was that him sending his dick was a one-time thing. It was a joke. His brother has a weird sense of humor. Everyone else in the group chat was drawing sexual images.
Dude, all of these fucking excuses suck. It happened one time. All right, one time's too many. It was just a joke. All right, that's a really bad joke. He just has a weird sense of humor. That's the same excuse as the joke excuse, and it's still shit. Number 4, everybody else is doing it. Yeah, if kids are doing it, that's fucking weird. You should not be in a fucking environment where kids are being like openly sexual. Like, what are you talking about?
Of each other. And no one complained to Technicals, the person who owned the group chat, saying that they were traumatized or whatever. Along with Technicals' recent tweets about the situation, him and his brother have already made videos and twit-longers talking about the situation.
This is in regards to the twit-longer about my brother. Yes, I was in the group chat. I was in every group chat because I was the leader at the time. I was the leader of the crew that we made, which was this gigantic chat group of people in high school, adults, all this other shit.
In the group chat that I was in that had people from 13 years old up into, I was the oldest, I was 19. Glad that that really young person wasn't exposed to it, but the rest of the minors that were in the chat, like remember, it was like I was the only adult in that chat.
I also want to make it clear that he never went out of his way to personally DM, singularly, any of these people.
Reached out to the person that I drew art of in attempts to like apologize to them because I do feel really bad. They haven't responded to me yet, which makes sense. I'd still like to get in contact with them.
Me, along with everyone else, came to BJ and told him that was a really fucking stupid thing to do. Don't do something like that again because we are in a group chat where, you know, it might be bad for other people. Told him it was stupid, never to do it again, and guess what? He didn't do it again.
Not nude. I'm wearing a towel. I'm not nude in those photos. Like, I have pants on or like a towel on. That doesn't like make it better, but at least I didn't spam the chat with fucking nude photos of myself.
So if you can't tell, there are a lot of inaccuracies with what they both said. Originally, I had a theory that
they contradict each other all the fucking time. Even in like the drama alert debate, when I'm like actively questioning Technicals, I'm like, so I mentioned it, I was like, so Pixel was like the only adult in the chat. And Tech's like, no, that's not true. And I'm like, wait, what? So you're going against your brother there? He's like, well, I was also an adult because we're twins. And I'm like, oh, well, that doesn't make you sound better, but that also contradicts your own brother or something. Like, okay, whatever. Like, they do this shit constantly, and it's so fucking weird.
Wrote BJ's response and apology, but I guess
also I don't know if he goes over it in this video, but one of Technical's excuses was that there's like a separate chat. You know what I mean? Like he said like the nudes and stuff like that happened in a different chat. Like that was more exclusive. Like it was like a chat with like 3 people, right? Like there was like a separate degeneracy chat that Tech wasn't even a part of. That's the excuse he brought up most recently, which is like, what the fuck? Why wouldn't you say that before? But also, I don't think all the news were just sent in that chat. Like there was still shit that happened in the main chat too. So what are you talking about? But I don't know if he goes over that in this video.
That wouldn't make sense, would it? With all these inaccuracies and pretty much lies thrown against the wall, seeing which one would stick, I feel like it's impossible to tell who's telling the truth and who's not. But even if we were to believe Tech's response and apology and everything, his was the most charitable. He gave as much leeway to BJ as possible and himself. If we were supposed to believe him, there's still some more lies and inaccuracies, so you can't even believe it. Do you remember when Technicals in his response said that
Told him it was stupid, never to do it again, and guess what? He didn't do it again.
I'm gonna just throw a spoiler alert real quick. He did do it again. In the twit longer that they're responding to, there's 2 instances of it. One of them was in 2016 and the other one in 2017. So I have one question for you, Tech. Which one are you responding to? If you're referring only to 2016, then that means you're completely ignoring a year later. But if you're talking about 2017, that means you're a fucking idiot. Either way, you're ignoring major context. Before you guys say, wait, I've already seen John, I just want to talk about this. Oh, I found it first, fucking idiot. I even asked some of the people that were in the group chat, and multiple people said that Tentacles was in the group chat, but he purely just lurked. He didn't really do anything, to the point where it was like he wasn't even there. So in the group chat, BJ didn't just send his dick twice. He also decided to join in on this really funny joke that they did, which was drawing lolly porn of the minors in there. He drew very explicit porn of 2 minors, one 17 and the other 16, having gay sex, which is not very great. But along with that, he also decided to post it on.
I like how he says they were drawing gay sex, which is not very great. It's like, well, which part was the bad part, right? The fact that they were minors, or the fact that it was, you know, like that's what it sounds like.
Rule 34 and his own Twitter account. By the way, I'm gonna interject a little bit. While I was researching BJ, I found a lot of shit in his past, especially his old Rule 34, and I found some lewd drawings of Ness from Earthbound, who is a 13 to 14-year-old boy, and by lewd I mean he was sucking dick. It's a very
Oh my god, these people are such fucking freaks, man.
weird thing, but just keep that in the back of your mind until later on, or don't. Actually, don't. He also drew furry porn, which is great because I'm glad he's still keeping in the family. When the Twitlonger originally came out, the person who made the Twitlonger and was in the hentai that BJ drew said that BJ sent the image to the group chat, and the person who wrote the Twitlonger said it was probably one of the most horrifying experiences of their entire life. So do me a favor and please imagine how they must have felt when BJ posted on 2 of his public platforms. That must have fucking sucked. The fucking dickhead. Breaking news, gamers. And there is no time for that drama alert intro. Let's just jump into it. So let me give you the brief summary of the new information that we learned from these group chats. And the person who wrote this is very, very close to the situation and was one of the people throughout all of it to be there. 1. Tentacles only made one of the group chats. The rest of them he did not create and most of the time was not even involved in. 2. There were a few adults in the situation, but none of them were sexual except for Pixel. Pixel was overly sexual with these kids and would even bring up sexual topics in the middle of random conversations for no reason. 3. Pixel made NSFW art of these kids around 5 times, and it was not an inside joke. It was just something that he did. Multiple people in the situation were traumatized due to the acts that Pixel did, and Tentacles actively avoided them and did not try to help in any way. And finally, Tentacles and Pixel embellished a lot and tried to self-insert as much as possible without any real reason to. I've seen a few responses from other commentators saying that they don't know if they believe this or not, and I personally do, because majority of it is just saying that Tentacles and Pixel both lied in their apologies. And I mean, they definitely did. They definitely spun the situation as much as they could, make it seem like they were either more involved or less involved, depending on the situation that it would come up in.
The weird part about some of Tech's lies is like, it doesn't really make much sense sometimes, like in these situations, like why he would like lie. Because it seems like some of the lies make it sound like worse almost, right? I'm like, is this guy just like a fucking like chronic liar? Like he can't help himself? He'll even lie if it like doesn't even benefit him? Like, why?
Their responses were just filled with...
And here's the deal, like with a situation like this that's like so fucking like crusty and embarrassing, you are pretty much forced to tell the truth. Because if you lie about anything, that's like this fucking serious or this like fucking volatile or something, it's like, it's just gonna look so bad on you. Like, you pretty much are locked in a situation where you have to tell the truth, because anytime you start lying, people just aren't gonna fucking trust anything you have to say about serious shit, you know?
Flies, and even now, Technicals is still contradicting himself from his original statement to now.
Every group chat.
I was in the group chats. 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 I was in the group chats.
I was in the group chat. I was in every group chat.
Come on, man. Corbin had nothing to do with that, man. He was just chilling on Twitter. What the fuck? But yeah, I just want to keep you in the loop. Let's go back to the main video. Regarding all this stuff, when it came back up into the public eye, Tech had a weird response. The way he should have handled it is just bowing down and say, yeah, that happened. That sucks. I've already talked to my brother. He hasn't had any other fuck ups.
I don't know why.
But no, what he did is he spurred out on Twitter, said that.
Right, I don't know why the video is pausing. I don't know why Tech didn't just say, like, look, he did it. It's, you know, like, criticize him, not me. Because there's really not much criticism you can give to Tech in this situation. I mean, he didn't do it, you know what I mean? The only criticism you can say is like, oh, well, that's your brother who's like, you know, exposing themselves inappropriately to minors. You should probably step in and like stop him, which, I mean, yeah, you probably should. But at the end of the day, Tech's brother is still the one, you know, PixelDrink is still the one who's like the problem in this situation. Tech is only like tangentially related just because he was in the chat and he happens to be his brother, you know? So I don't know why Tech freaked out as much as he did, because it's really not his. Tech isn't the one who sent his fucking dick in the chat, you know? And he was barely involved in the chat. Even people within the chat who are now against Technicals, even they still acknowledge, like, look, Tech just wasn't that active in the chat, you know? They're not trying to fucking bury him unfairly. Even though they don't even really like him that much anymore.
That I've already responded to it. I can't be criticized again, and said that it's a non-issue because he's already responded, even though I've already proved his response was bullshit. I decided to take a page out of Technical's book because he just loves involving law somehow more than he likes making bullshit points. So I decided to take a page out of his book, and I even contacted a lawyer from Las Vegas, where BJ and Tech are from, about all the shit with BJ, and asked him what would be BJ's sentence if he was tried and convicted. And this is what he said.
He could easily be prosecuted for various federal and state offenses and be required to register as a sex offender if convicted.
So take that with the amount of salt.
I know what he's trying to do here. He's trying to be like, oh, well, look, I can get a lawyer involved too or something, but like, I just don't care like about their opinion. It's just an opinion at the end of the day. It's just an opinion from somebody who like can only make an educated guess with limited context of the situation. So I don't know.
You would give a actual lawyer. So the next allegations I'm going to be talking about in regards to BJ are cover some very sensitive.
I mean, that excerpt he had from that lawyer, I'm pretty sure anybody could say that or come to that conclusion, you know? But I also understand what he was doing.
Matters, and it can be very triggering to some people, which I completely get. If you want to skip them, just go to this time frame, or I'll just put the chapter and you can skip it. I don't mind. So let's jump in.
So far at this point in the video, barely any new information has been given so far. I think now we're gonna now it's gonna transition into some stuff that we didn't really like know or talk about. The twit longer.
So before I even talk about all this, I have to say, to protect myself and everyone involved, that these are all allegations. Sure, I have my opinions, and I'm going to give those later, but nothing is confirmed yet by a legal team or even by both parties. So it's still up in the air. It's still allegations. So on July 7th, a Twitter user that goes by, however the fuck you say that, also known as Sarah, made a twit longer about BJ, saying how she and him once dated and he had raped her. Along with that, she also claimed multiple accounts of pedophilia and.
By the way, this was in the same twit longer that talked about the group chat, right? One of the things that Tech did dishonestly was try to say that we were like going after, like trying to like smear his brother or something. The only thing I brought up about his brother was the group chat stuff and how Tech responded to it and how it's similar to how he handled the Zero situation, right? If I was interested in smearing his fucking brother, I would have gone into like the rape allegation that was literally in the same fucking twit longer. If I was so interested in just burying his brother and just destroying him or something, I would have talked about the, you know, insane fucking rape allegation that, you know, was literally in the same fucking thread that I'm sure everybody fucking saw, but guess what we never talked about? The only reason why I'm talking about it now is just because there's a fucking, it's in a giant video or something, and I'm just curious to learn more about it. At the end of the day, I mean, I haven't touched this shit for a reason, you know? Because it's actually irrelevant. Like, they kept trying to say, oh, bringing up Tech's brother is irrelevant to the whole case. It's like, well, no, it's not. But the rape stuff actually is irrelevant, in my opinion, to the whole. It's just like another fucking tidbit of information that if anybody else wanted to take a look at, sure, go for it. And that's exactly what this guy's doing, you know? But it's like, it's just so annoying. It's so annoying. I will never not be annoyed by, like, just how, like, I was fucking smeared. I was smeared, damn it. Okay? People try to make me out as some bad faith, malicious, terrible actor. Okay? No. My shit makes sense, okay?
Him getting with underage girls, but right now we're going to be focusing on the main parts of the twit longer. The parts of her own personal experience. So here's the twit longer.
My experience with Turtle.
But why did Connor have to go into the anti-tech subreddit looking for dirt? Do you think Connor went to an anti-tech subreddit looking for dirt? Where the fuck did you hear that? No, he got fucking linked it on Twitter. Somebody else fucking found it, made a fucking thread about it, and then linked it to Connor on Twitter. Connor literally talked to the guy that wrote the twit longer. But even if he did go snooping around in fucking Reddits or whatever, who cares? If the information is relevant or interesting, why not talk about it?
SSB. There is something that I've had to live with for over a year now. Since it happened, I was always too afraid to say anything or speak up in fear of causing drama or being demonized due to his status in the Smash scene. And seeing how—
If I recall, that was being spammed to everybody. Yeah, there's a bunch of schizos that were like fucking spamming the twit longer to like everybody. Like they were just like, at Augie, at Nick, at Connor, like just like they fucking spam all of us. At Boblax, you know, look at this and stuff like that. This shit happens all the time. One of the most common ways I hear about internet drama is just by people linking me shit on Twitter. People link me shit all the time. People link me shit in the chat, you know? It's really common.
How liked he was in the community. It's also something that I've avoided speaking about because I've tried my hardest to pretend it didn't happen, and speaking about it will only cause me to relive it. However, I feel it's important for me to share my experience with Turtle, not for myself, but because I notice how many women, especially younger women, are in the same community as him. Trigger warning: rape and pedophilia. Last year, in February 2019, I was raped by Brendan Jackson, Turtle SSB. Him and I were having sex, and I told him that I didn't want him to come in me. I was too nervous, and it was too risky. When I told him I didn't want him to do it, he told me that he was going to anyways. I kept saying no. I said no at least 5 times. But again, he kept saying he was going to anyways. I ended up giving up on arguing with him. He insisted on doing it, and I couldn't win that fight. I didn't want to have sex at that point, and I was too scared to tell him to stop. Instead of using my words, I tried to nudge him off of me. For context, we were in missionary position. He was on top of me. I'm not sure if he did or didn't get the hint, but nonetheless, he never cared about my boundaries of when I wanted to stop having sex or when I didn't want him to come in me. So again, it was a fight I wasn't going to win. He turned me around and had sex with me from behind. I didn't want to have sex anymore, so my vagina was completely dry at that point. It hurt, and I couldn't say anything about it. He ended up finishing inside of me, and as soon as he pulled out, I was bleeding everywhere. My whole body was in pain. It felt like I was experiencing period cramps. I bled for the entire day. He ended up calling me a month later and told me, sorry for being pushy, I guess. While BJ and I were in a relationship, he added me to one of his Discord servers, and I was able to scroll up to see previous conversations. I saw he sent a hyper-realistic drawing of a naked child. They couldn't be older than 12. He sent it along with a sexual message about the child. I later found out that BJ had a 16-year-old girlfriend while he was 20/21 years old. I was also told by one
We're gonna get into that in just a second because I have something to say about that.
of his old friends that he had sex with a 15 to 16-year-old girl while at another friend's house. Thank you for reading this, to everyone that did. I genuinely hope that Brendan, Turtle, has grown since this happened, and I don't want anything bad to happen to him. I do believe that people can learn and grow. That's really all I hope for. However, that doesn't excuse any of what he did, at all, and I believe he should be held accountable. I feel like that's the only true way to grow from your mistakes. In the meantime, I really do advise the girls and women in the Smash scene to just please be careful. Not only from him, but any man in that scene, and in general, who's older than 18. Thank you.
So in Sarah's twit longer, there's some main claims that we need to take away. Again, all allegations, but still very important. That being, BJ sexually assaulted her. BJ made a lot of jokes about lollies in a Discord server with his friends, and BJ did it a 16-year-old and a 15-year-old when he was above the legal age. Now both BJ and Tech both responded to these claims, and let's go for BJ's first. Now, I don't really feel like editing BJ's response, so let me just summarize it real quick. BJ confirmed that him and Sarah had sex on Valentine's Day, but he claimed that instead of her begging him to not finish inside of her, it was completely consensual, and he was making sure that she felt as comfortable as possible. Next claim, he admitted to showing lolly hentai, but he claimed it was all jokes. You heard that one before. I do think this line is really funny. Lolly hentai is gross, and I shared it to gross on my friends. I would not seek out the image otherwise.
Yeah.
Rule 34 says otherwise, bud, but that's for later. Now for the two 16-year-old girls.
That's like when people say like they watch porn for the plot. It's like, okay, buddy, whatever.
For the first one, he claims that she was actually 17 at the time when he was 20, and the age of consent in Nevada is 16. And for the other girl, he said that this was just a rumor and that Sarah was in the wrong for just believing it. And now let's watch Technical's response.
So before we get into Technical's response, his response that, oh, I wasn't dating a 15-year-old. She was actually 17 while I was 20, so it's okay, right? And I pointed this out last time, but I'm going to point it out again because it actually infuriates me, right? Tech's brother admitted to having a relationship with the 17-year-old while he was 20. Now, on the surface level, there's literally nothing wrong with that. Like, there's literally nothing wrong with that. I would never fucking even imagine or even think about, like, saying that there's anything, like, wrong. Like, no. Like, that's totally fine, right? Unless you're technicals, right? Because if you're technicals, a 3-year age gap is pedophilia. Remember? 18, 15? Remember when Tech tried to like fucking call me a fucking pedophile? Cause I think that 18, 15 is like not a pedophilic relationship or something. Well, his own brother, and Tech knew this, he had to have known this because it was his own fucking brother who like claimed it, right? His own brother dated a fucking 17-year-old while he was 20. So Tech knew that and still dishonestly fucking called me a pedo on Drama Alert. How fucking dishonest can this guy possibly get? The fact that he knew that and then still made that argument against me. And then I'm finding out like a month later why that argument is so insane, other than, you know, the obvious. That just fucking blows my brain, dude. When I watched this video, right, and I heard him say that, I was like, wait, what the fuck? Huh? So Tech knew that his brother dated a 17-year-old, but then he shits on me and calls me a fucking pedo. What the fuck is going on here? Jesus Christ, this guy is such a fucking weasel.
That are using this situation where there is some truth to it and are now going back and retroactively adding validity to the statements made about rape, those are false. That is a false allegation. You can clearly see the woman that made those allegations is retweeting all the stuff where he's losing his job and all this. It's very opportunistic, and I think that person is disgusting for making that twit longer. Please do not support that person without having first read Turtle's response, because she has been harassing him for years. This is not new. Of course she's excited. I'm not going to get canceled for it, and I won't really care past this response, so yeah. That's all I have to say.
So to give props where they are, I will compliment BJ and Tech for how they respond to two things. One, Tech saying that you need to hear both sides of the argument before making your opinion. At least that was my understanding of what he meant by this clip.
Please do not support that person without having first read Turtle's response.
And I have to compliment BJ on the way he handled the second allegation where it was just rumors, and that is completely true. I was even allowed to talk to Sarah herself and have an interview with her, which I'm going to play later, and I asked her about the rumors, and she said that they were purely just rumors and she had no evidence, which I believe muddies the credibility of all the other allegations, not just hers, but everyone else's, and it was highly irresponsible for her to have it. But besides that,
I agree with that too. Her including that random rumor of like, oh, well, I heard he also did this without verifying it or talking about it or like elaborating what the fuck that means. That is really bad. That is really bad. Because like, why would you do that?
Hamlet funded $5.50. Yo.
What's up, dude? Because like, if you're gonna come out with a rape allegation against somebody, right? And in the middle of your allegation or at like the end of it, you're gonna be like, yeah, this guy's awful. He raped me. Also, I heard he like did it a 15-year-old or something. I don't know. I just heard about it. That's like, why would you say that? The allegation you're already making is bad enough as it is. You don't need to like add to it or make him sound worse. If what you're saying initially is true, then that's bad and that's enough of a reason to like think that he's insane or something, right? You don't have to like needlessly like add like random rumors. That just fucking hurts your credibility and makes nobody want to fucking believe you, you know? Like, why would you fucking say that?
That's where all my praises end. While I was talking to Sarah, I want to show you guys one screenshot she gave me when she tried to reach out to Technicals to give her side. It's him saying this, and I quote, "Until you have some actual receipts, instead of crop conversations, you can drop this fake act with me. I see right through you." Which is hilarious because both his and BJ's response to what Sarah said barely had any evidence or any conversations at all. Technical's response had nothing, and BJ's had a few screenshots that proved nothing and were cropped out of their mind. Truly, I don't understand why you can't at least hear her out, at least for a little bit. But if we're gonna stay by his—
Alright, in my opinion, the point that he just made is weak. It's not Technical's or his brother's responsibility to bring up proof that they didn't do something, right? It's the responsibility of the accuser to prove that what they're accusing PixelDrink of happened, right? Tech and his brother don't have to pull evidence out of their ass and like, how do you even like, you can't prove a negative, right? You can't prove that a rape didn't fucking happen, right? She has to prove that it did. So that was kind of a weak argument from this video.
His logic, then we have to clear the board because none of it matters, because none of it counts as real evidence because there's no real screenshots or anything of the sort, which honestly doesn't seem very fair to people who made Twitlongers and even to BJ or Tech to just disregard everything they said. So instead of doing that, let's give it some more context. Let me show you the interview I had with Sarah, and I'll try to explain some of the allegations and do my best to make sense of it all. So here's the interview. First of all, who are you?
My name is Sarah. I go by Sarah Neko on the internet.
So, what's your association with BJ, also known as PixelDrink or Turtle SSB?
Also, his background music is too loud.
I'm his ex-girlfriend.
And you came out with a Twitlonger about him, right? Can you explain what the allegations you said were and give your side?
Okay, so basically, I met him, it was November of 2018, probably like 2 months after I turned 18. My friend Gabby introduced me to him. We met, and then we met in person like a week after talking. And then that day he asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said okay. And then he dated for about a month, really on and off, strangely, for like it only being a month of dating. The relationship was really rocky, like there was a lot of red flags. And this was right after BJ had gotten kicked out of what they call like our local hardcore scene in Vegas. Basically,
local hardcore scene in Vegas. Dude, these fucking like Smash community like names just sound so terrible.
It's just like a bunch of people.
It was an all-night Smash fest.
Who like listen to hardcore music, go to concerts. He was really big in that scene, and he got exposed for being a pedophile. But this is when he was dating his 16-year-old girlfriend when he got kicked out of that like whole scene.
Okay, so what she's saying here is really important. She's saying that Tech's brother was in a rave club, essentially, right? And he got kicked out of the club after they found out that he was a pedophile, according to them, because they caught him dating a 16-year-old while he was 21, right? And she claims that anybody in the fucking club can verify this information, right? Okay. Can we talk to them? You know? Because, like, as far as I know in this video, he doesn't talk to anybody from the club. Because apparently the whole club, like, threw him out. They were like, oh shit, you're a pedo. Get out of here, right? Okay. So, like, the fact that a whole group of people can verify that sounds bad, right? But can we, like, talk to them and gather some more information about that? You know? That's interesting.
And then I had met him coincidentally when that happened. And he obviously didn't tell me. His friends didn't tell me either, of course. But our first really big fight, because he wasn't taking me on dates or, like, hung out in the room and, like, slept with each other and then, like, slept all day. He got really mad at me and, like, blocked me on everything and then unblocked me about 3 days later. And so we got back together and he promised that he would, like, treat me better or whatever. And then one day I went over to his house and we had just got done having sex. And he tells me, he was like, yeah, you sound really sexy in bed. Like, you sound really hot. Because you sound a lot like a lolly, because I have a really small voice. And I thought that was weird.
Okay, alright, dude. Oh my god.
Because I was like, ew. I was like, lollies are like little kids. And he was like, no, it's not like that. And I was like, alright. And then he brought up his Rule 34, and then he showed me his Rule 34. And there was, like, a lot of drawings of CP, like, naked.
Jeez, okay,
children.
what the fuck? Oh my god. This video is fucking insane, man.
But drawings, like, you know that one guy, what was his name?
Shadman?
Yeah, it was like his artwork.
You know that one guy, Shadman? Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, he showed me his Rule 34 and he did it to me and he kind of laughed it off, but it was still weird.
He showed me his Rule 34.
But then I saw that and I felt really uncomfortable, so I left and I went home immediately. And then he called me and he was like, I promise I was kidding. I'm sorry.
Look, it's just my sense of humor, man. All right. It's shock humor.
We talked about it and I was just like, yeah, that stuff makes me really uncomfortable. He apologized.
Imagine telling a woman IRL, just being like, you sound like a lolly. And the woman's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We got back together. And then we broke up because he wasn't improving. And that was the last time we broke up. And then in March of 2019, he reached out to me on Instagram to say hi and check on me. And so we got back in touch and then we started flirting and talking, like, casually and then catching up. On February 12th, he invited me to sleep over that night. And I was like, okay, yeah, we can hang out, like, just as friends. Because I wasn't ready to, like, have sex with anybody at that point. Like, I was, like, just... And he was on the same page, apparently. So we were just going as friends. And I went over to his house, and we had planned to, like, have a movie night and, like, do face masks and just hang out. And I was on his bed, and he was like, all right, take your clothes off. And I was like, no. And he was like, what, you thought you were gonna come over to my house and I wasn't gonna rape you? And I was just like, oh.
Jeez. I'm getting, like, almost like Slazo, like, fucking accusation memes all over again. It's rape time. I don't know. By the way, chat, like, I don't know if I believe any of this. It's just an allegation. Like, just because I don't, like, I think the guy's, like, a bit of a freak doesn't mean, like, I instantly just, like, believe everything I hear. But I don't know. I'm just, like, listening to it just to, like, know what the allegation is.
I don't know if I should laugh at that or not. Like, it was really weird. And then we forgot about it, and then we had a good night.
Also, to be fair, guys say shit like that to, like, women, like, all the time, like, in a fucking, like, joking context, like, oh, I'm gonna rape you or something, without actually fucking meaning it, you know what I mean? So it's possible that even if that DM was real, it doesn't really, like, prove anything, you know? I mean, Slazo made a rape joke to his girlfriend. A lot of guys do that shit. It's not really out of the ordinary, so... Even if that DM exists and she can, like, provide evidence to that, that doesn't do much. Let's fucking go. Triple kill, bitch.
Did end up having sex with each other that night, and then yeah, I slept over. The next day, it was really weird because he was being really mean to me. I remember he like looked at me and he told me that I looked really ugly, and he kept commenting on how ugly I looked. And then he invited me to go on a date for Valentine's Day, and he was like, well, I felt really bad for not being a good boyfriend to you, and I feel like I'd make up for it by taking you on a date. And I was like, okay, yeah, like that'll be nice. It was weird because I Ubered to his house and he wasn't answering the door, and I ordered my Uber to go back home, and I wish I had taken that Uber back home. But as soon as the Uber got there, he opened the door, and so obviously he stayed. And we get ready, we go to the cafe, we have a good, good talk, and it was a good time. Like, we ate, and we drank coffee, and it was nice. And then we went back to his house, and I guess this is worth mentioning. The night before, and probably a few weeks prior, we had mentioned like sleeping together, and went into details of what we would do when we slept together, and the topic of like him finishing inside of me was something that we both talked about, and neither of us had done it at that point, and we wanted to try it out, and I trusted him because he trusted me too. Fast forward to Valentine's Day, we had a good date, whatever. We get to his house, and then we fell asleep, and then we woke up in the middle of the night, and then we started to have sex, and a couple minutes into it, I was like, hey, I'm really scared, like I don't want to do this anymore, and I said that word for word, and he was like, no, it's fine. And I was like, no, I really don't want to do this anymore. And then I became more like persistent and adamant on not wanting it. And he was like, no, I'm going to do it anyway. You'll be fine. And he kept saying, I'll be fine. Like, he kept telling me. He was like, no, just like, don't worry.
Is chat actually arguing the thing that I said about like the rape joke? If chat's arguing that, you guys are unironically like the turbo fucking virgins or something. I don't know. Like, you don't even have to be like... I don't even want to say that because like virgins like even acknowledge that like fucking people say weird shit like as jokes to like women. It's not even just women. People say weird shit to like their friends in general. Like this always happens. Like what are you guys saying? People are like, huh? That's sus! The self-report! Are you guys retarded? Anyone who says that is just like severely like they just don't even have any like fucking friends or anything. A Vosh moment? What do you... Wait, I'm actually confused. Is chat actually arguing that people don't make jokes around their girlfriend? What? Huh? This is just human science. What do you mean? It's human nature. How is chat arguing this? You don't have to know, all you have to know is like the basics of like just human fucking behavior to realize that people will make jokes around their partner or around friends. Like, it's obvious.
Jessica Pizzle funded $5. Augie, you can't expect your viewers to know what the real world is like. They e-date. Lol.
It happens all the time in e-dating though. What do you mean? Like... I'm just like trying to like struggle to like comprehend how chat could like be confused by this. This is next level.
Don't worry about it, you'll be fine. And I was like, BJ, like I don't want to. I was just like, I'm scared, like I don't want to get pregnant. I don't want, like I just, and he's like, no, it's okay, I'll just get you plan B. And I was like, no, like, let's just wait. Like, I don't want to do this. And he said no again. And so I gave up. And then I was just like, all right, like, there's no point in me asking him to stop anymore because he's just going to do whatever he wants anyways. And he did. It got to a point where, like, I started pushing him off of me. We were in missionary. And I started pushing him off of me. And he wasn't, like, he was resisting. So it got to a point where, like, I completely gave up because he wasn't taking me pushing him off of me as a sign. He wasn't taking me saying no as a sign for him to not do what I didn't want him to do. And so I gave up, and I think he knew that because he ended up turning me over onto my stomach, and we ended up doing it from,
right,
doggy
honestly,
position.
I don't want to hear the retelling of the story because we already heard it the first time. Is there anything else in this interview that I should listen to?
Funded $9.99. My wife and I make jokes like that all the time with each other. Cancel us, you terminally online morons. Lol.
LOL. Yeah, I mean, chat, you guys are just like, I mean, what the problem with the chat right now is that they're all like virtue signaling. They're like, I would never make a joke about raping my girlfriend because I'm a virtuous person. Or shut up. It's a fucking joke. It's not real. People break boundaries with each other all the fucking time. People have different boundaries, you know? There are relationships where they don't joke about shit like that, right? Because they've set up a boundary. Like the woman or the man is like, look, I don't want to joke about stuff like this, right? And then they don't do that, right? But there are other relationships where they joke about pretty much anything, you know? Because they enjoy that. Because both of them have a fucking sense of humor. Maybe they like that shit. I don't know, you know? You don't need to really, like, people in chat are saying, oh, chat's full of virgins or something. Virgins, like, know this. Like, it's just people who have, like, I guess, like, no friends or, like, just no experience with people in general that, like, get confused by this. Or just people who are virtue signaling. People who are like, I would never make a rape joke. Shut up. Nobody cares if you would never make a rape joke. You're not virtuous, you're not fucking brave, you're just retarded, all right? And nobody gives a shit about what you wouldn't joke about. Nobody wants to hear it, okay? There's a difference between somebody I'm in a relationship with making that joke versus somebody I don't know that I've just met. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, context matters, right? You would say jokes around like people you grew up with your whole life that you would never say around people you just met. I can't believe I have to explain this. This is actually like unreal to me. I would never make a rape joke. Okay, cool. Nobody cares, all right? If you would never make a joke like that, nobody gives a shit that you wouldn't. Nobody thinks you're cool, virtuous or cool, or somebody who's a really upstanding guy around women. Nobody cares, okay? Nobody gives a shit. I can promise you right now that your virtue in chat is getting you nowhere. Nobody gives a shit. Anyway, now that I'm done with that point. All right, I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit.
Stuff where consent is very important, and we use safe words and stuff, and he's always respected my boundaries in the past when we were in a relationship. So I expected it. I went into it with the expectations of him respecting me if I wanted to stop or if I didn't want to do anything that I wasn't comfortable with. And that's why it was so easy for me at first to say, hey, like, I don't want to do this. And it took a few tries for me to be like, okay, he's not gonna let out.
So you were okay with it even when he said no before you guys started, because you assumed that if you just didn't enjoy it halfway through that he would just stop.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So you mentioned that he had a group chat with his
Oh, and by the way,
right?
just like how I said context matters, in the context of this situation that we're listening to right now, let's say that what she's saying right now is 100% true and it happened, right? Obviously, the context of PixelDrink saying, I'm gonna rape you, is completely different than the context of somebody who's in a relationship with a woman where they're okay, they've expressed that they're okay with jokes being said. Like, that context is completely different between the context of a guy saying, I'm gonna rape you, and then actually doing it, okay? So yeah, context does matter, right? If what she's saying is true, then the context of this joke is completely different, because at that point, it's not a joke anymore. He's actually, like, doing it, you know? Just in case we're clear here. But honestly, I don't know anything about this allegation. It's he said, she said. So, I don't know. I'll let this donation play out here. Chad doesn't make rape jokes, not because they're against it, but because Chad is unfunny. Yeah, literally. I would never joke. Okay, cool. We don't care. That's great for you. Nobody gives a shit. Is this donation gonna fucking play? Why is it taking so long? Okay, I guess it's not. All right, whatever. I'll just read it. To everyone in chat, Tipster and his wife have known each other for a long time and know and trust each other, so it's different. Are you not listening? She literally said they trust each other.
Where?
Discord server.
Yeah, Discord server.
Yeah.
Where
He had a Discord server with about like 3 of his friends. I think it was like, actually no, it was like 4 of his friends. They were all Smash players, and we would play Roblox
This
sometimes.
wasn't the minor. This wasn't the group chat filled with minors, right?
No, this was like a private Discord before he had any like following. It was just for like when you would play Smash or like Roblox.
Okay.
There was a way, I don't know if Discord does this anymore, but if you get added into a server, you can scroll and see the old messages, right? Like before you were in there. And that's when I found out all like the CP drawings too, aside from his Rule 34. And he was the only one sending it, and his friends wouldn't laugh at it. He would just send it and be like, I'd fuck.
That's one thing that he claimed in
They wouldn't laugh at it.
Was that he sent this to his server for shock value and for comedy. And you got access to the server, right? Correct?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if I still do.
Do you think that he genuinely did that for shock value and humor, or do you think he was just expressing his emotions and used humor as a cop-out?
Yeah, I feel like he was like laughing about it for a second, and then like he was like laughing at it, but I think he was, you know, there's like an underlying truth behind it, you know, like there's truth to every joke.
It's the dog whistle, right? PixelDrink is an expert at dog whistling through comedy, except instead of dog whistling racism, he dog whistles lolicon. Oh my god. Assuming that's all true.
Like I don't think like I wouldn't.
People always say the far right expresses their ideologies through jokes and memes. PixelDrink expresses his ideology through jokes and memes too, except his ideology isn't political.
A joke about that. I don't think any other, you know, person who doesn't think like that already would joke like that. I don't see any shock value in it. It's just uncomfortable.
So after hearing that, you must have 2 states of mind. 1, she's a lying bitch, shouldn't be trusted. Or 2, BJ is the scum of the earth and doesn't deserve any forgiveness. Well,
I'm in the middle.
Before you make your judgment so fast, let's take—
Because, well, actually, I'm not even in the middle. I have no judgment. I have literally no judgment on this. Her story sounds awful. Don't know if it's true.
a step back. And with this newfound evidence, let's look at all the claims made against him. And let's see if we can break down some. First, starting with the easiest, that being the lollies.
When Sarah mentioned earlier about PixelDrink's previous Rule 34 account, we can absolutely prove this existed. Even though many of the posts were taken down, the archives of the site still remain. Many of the claims she backs up are Pixel sending pornographic artworks to the group chat. As well, BJ has always been extremely interested in, especially lolly. Pixel was known to shockingly send lolly hentai to a group chat full of minors under excuse of shock humor. He also recently got exposed again in the past couple of months for having My Hero Academia hentai of a minor. PixelDrink is constantly getting his behavior excused as a slip-up.
Wait, hold on. What happened? Oh no. Oh, he's getting exposed on TikTok? Oh my god.
It's actually a cycle of this type of behavior. If you want a more fresh example, how about when he accidentally showed another YouTuber who goes by Turkey Tom photo hentai during their trip to VidCon?
I was about to get in like an Uber with Tech and his brother, and his brother was like gonna show me something on his phone, and he just bring.
Jesus Christ. The fact that the VidCon story is in an actual video is just so fucking funny to me. Oh my god.
Brings up like this like fuda porn, like girls with dicks, and he's like, oh my bad. I was like, holy shit. I like get in the car with Tech, I'm like, is that normal? He's like, yeah, I mean, it's just what he's into.
Many of the same criticisms that Tech has against Jisoo are laughably the same. But to be fair, this isn't even tip of the iceberg. Many of the awful allegations that are proven against Pixel start now, and it starts with 16-year-olds.
Figaro. So since Tech and BJ both claim that him dating a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old were just rumors and we shouldn't listen to them. That's completely fair. Except for the fact that Tentacles put rumors in his Risu video.
That also raises a couple of eyebrows regarding a rumor that's been going around the community for quite some time. I only do this for fun, so take this with a grain of salt.
So as far as I'm aware, it's fair game. But to be completely fair, I do not stay with the validity of any of these claims.
This is a rumor, and I in no way support the legitimacy of it.
And they're just rumors that I've heard. I do this for fun.
I only do this for fun. I only do this for fun. I only do this for fun, so...
Which obviously negates any criticism I could ever have for including rumors that have incomplete or zero evidence for them. And
that's a good point.
That I am extremely biased towards the person that I'm making this video on, of course. Now, to be fair, out of all the claims that are made, this is going to be the one that has the least evidence and is probably going to be the hardest to prove because Sarah and BJ, and including Tech, gave zero evidence for any of their claims, so it's purely going to be speculation. But like the Lolly situation, a lot of it has a bunch of people that are not connected tell stories that seem to interlock. Like the screenshot Sarah gave me of someone reaching out to her after a twit lung had come out, talking about how BJ had a girl that looked around the 16, 17-ish age range at a event. Now that doesn't really prove anything, but if true, not a great look for his claim. So in my interview,
that claim I don't give a fuck about. What, he was with a girl that looked young? Okay, that's who cares?
You know, I even asked Sarah about the 15 and 16-year-old claims, and she said that BJ told her directly that he dated a 16, 15-year-old, and the other one was just rumors on Twitter. So
the problem with this shit is you got to be careful because it sort of like dips into like cancel culture, right? Of just like, okay, we're going from like allegations to like, well, one of my friends said he was at a convention with a young girl that looked young. It's like, all right, we're kind of starting to like dip into like this random territory that's like inconsequential, and now it's starting to sound like a fucking dog pile, you know? That's the problem here.
Who did you hear the rumor from about him having sex with a 15-year-old to 17-year-old? Like, where did you...
Oh, he told me. It was his ex-girlfriend, Sarah.
Okay.
Because they had dated for probably about a year. She was 16 when they broke up, so she had to have been 15.
So that was the second 16-year-old that he dated, correct?
No, that's the only one that I know for a fact about. Okay. The other one, I think what someone on Twitter told me about them, but I don't know too much about it to go off of it.
Because in his response, he claims that he dated a 16-year-old when he was 20. And then in a different paragraph, he was responding to you that you claimed that he had sex with a 15 to 16-year-old.
Yeah, I believe that was someone on Twitter telling me, but I don't have proof on that. I don't really know, so I can't go too much off of that.
Now, I personally believe it's an awful idea to blindly accept someone's narrative without any proper evidence. However, I do believe that she deserves some credit, some benefit of doubt, considering she is one of the only people in this entire story to have proper evidence, and one of the only people in her stories to give proper evidence and have a sincere narrative that actually has proof to it.
Well, again, like, how does Tech and his... How does, like... First of all, let's remove Tech from the situation, because he doesn't have to fucking respond to this shit. He's not the fucking person being accused of shit. How does PixelDrink prove a rape didn't happen? Like, in all fairness, it's kind of like impossible odds. It's like, well, I mean, she dropped some evidence that, you know, this happened, and Tech's brother hasn't really done anything to respond to it. It's like, well, what can he do, though? Like, it's kind of like an impossible, like, ask, right? Like, that's not really how we handle these situations.
Even more so, Tech and BJ were shown moments ago just contradicting their own stories. I completely
All he said was that, hey, she claims that when we had sex, I raped her, and then but when we had sex, she was into it and liked it, and it was entirely consensual. She's saying it wasn't consensual. He's saying that it was. So what else can he really do?
Understand why someone would just believe Sarah's story without any heart.
I guess theoretically, if they had sex and it was consensual and she enjoyed it or something, maybe he could show texts like where they're talking afterwards, where she's just fine with it or something, or where maybe they're like talking about like their sexual experience and she, you know, going along with it. Like if he had like text like that, that would be pretty good or something. But if that doesn't exist, he's kind of like fucked. Or if they only had the conversations through the phone afterwards, then well, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit difficult for him to like come up with like counter evidence.
Hard evidence purely based on how
Show the Discord DMs, the one that I sent you. Okay. Wait, which Discord DMs?
Lost the lead.
I'm confused. I can't find it. Oops. Send them again because I can't see them. Oh. So this is Sarah talking to her friend, I guess like the night that she was allegedly raped. So she shows a picture of her, currently me. What's wrong, Sarah? Sarah says, it's a lot. I feel like dying. BJ went to train and I'm just in his room until he gets back, having a panic attack. He was like, you're overreacting. I was like, nah, man. BRB, I'm gonna call somebody and ask while I'm awake. The bitches aren't even open. Anyways, I'm just having a panic attack because something really weird is happening to my body right now. And it's the same thing that happened when I got raped. So she was raped prior to when she had sex with BJ, right? So what she's saying here is that the experience she's feeling right now is reminiscent of the previous time she was raped. Then she says, I don't know what to do. And a bunch of other stuff between that. I don't know, lol. And then her friend says, I can call in a bit if you still need to. So she provided this right here to show that it did happen. She's showing, I had a conversation with my friend about it. I'm literally talking about it. So that's her evidence, right? That she's provided that shows that this happened. Which is pretty bad. She's obviously freaking out because something bad happened. Yeah, I mean, she definitely has evidence that like something bad happened that night. And I mean, from BJ's point of view, it looks terrible, right?
reliable Tech and BJ are. Speaking of which, Tech, BJ, my boys, I know you guys are watching this video. It's more than likely gonna happen, and I want this to be very, very clear before you send a Twitter hate mob on me. I do not support any allegations without proper evidence. But that being said, you guys need proper evidence. If you're gonna make these massive claims like you shouldn't believe Sarah's story without the proper evidence or without the proper whatever, then you need to be the one to give that. You can't just expect people to believe you have to have a repeated history of lying in responses and then not bringing any new evidence to the table while Sarah has evidence and has not lied so far. And you have to understand that you guys completely fucked yourself over. So if you were to gain anything from this, is that you need to have proper evidence. So please, on Twitter or whatever platform you want, post some actual evidence. And if you do, I will make a pinned comment, I'll make a tweet, whatever you guys want, saying that I was wrong, and I will remove this section of the video. But until then, you guys are fucking stupid. That was just a little bit of hyperbole and a little grandstanding on my part. But now let's move on to Sarah's most damning claim. BJ's rape allegations. So the interview I had with Sarah basically just gave us some more info on the whole situation. So now all we have proof on is that yes, they did have sex on Valentine's Day and it was consensual. And then their stories diverge. Was BJ finishing inside of her consensual? Now, both parties haven't really given that many screenshots or much evidence to prove that it was or wasn't. There was this message that Sarah put in her tweet longer about her DMing BJ saying that she forgives him and him saying Papa Titty. But besides that, there's not really anything except for this screenshot that Sarah sent me of her DMing her friend as soon as they finished having sex and BJ left. The DM messages are her talking to her friend, obviously distressed, not really in her right state of mind, and having a panic attack. But there is one thing that is very notable. It's her talking about the reaction her body had, which is the exact same as in the twit longer. So there's two things that could have happened. One, Sarah was telling the truth that it happened, or at least a reaction. Or two, she's a big brain Giga Chad manipulator who thought of this story on the spot to manipulate her friend and no one else, because these chat logs haven't seen.
I mean, to be honest, if she lied, it's not really big brain. She wouldn't have to be some Machiavellian like genius to lie. It's not as unplausible as what he's saying, but I do agree that it's unlikely.
Something bad happened, but it isn't definitive proof. I don't want to discredit a possible victim, because I don't know who's telling the truth. but this person bringing PixelDrink's GF into what essentially started as zero drama with a vague DM is stupid.
A live day until this video, so it wouldn't really make sense for her to completely lie and
she would have to plan it in advance. What do you mean? Well, yeah, she thought like, I'm gonna lie and fuck this guy over or something. Then she could have just hit up her friend and been like, all right, after we have sex, I'm gonna DM you and pretend like I got raped, so then later I can show it as evidence again. I mean, I agree it's unlikely, but it's not as impossible as what they're making it out to be.
Bullshit to her friend for no reason, and for this screenshot not to even gain light.
Or yeah, the screenshot could have been faked or something, you know, but yeah.
From this screenshot in my interview with Sarah, and by the way, I'm gonna put the full thing in description. I have a hard time not believing Sarah that he at least came inside of her without her consent. So to be as charitable as possible to BJ, at the very least, he's just a bad boyfriend. He used Sarah for her body. He didn't try at all in the relationship. He was lazy boyfriend. He was abusive. He would yell, get into arguments all the time, and was just kind of a dick. But at the very, very worst, BJ is a sexual assaulter who is manipulative, abusive, and just a complete incel. Whether that be saying Papa Titty when she was confessing her feelings, or showing her lolly hentai and comparing her to a lolly. Very, incel-y activities. But that leads me to the final section of this video, the conclusion. God, I'm so ass at transitions. So what a lot of you are probably thinking, especially if you're a Tentacles fanboy, and rightfully so, is what does this have to do with Tentacles? This entire video has just been about BJ and the fucked up shit that he did. Besides being vaguely involved in the original stories and not really doing much recently, besides defending himself and his brother, he doesn't really, it's mostly just BJ's drama, and Tentacles just trying to do his best to clean it up. Well, it's less about what he actually had in the physical events or online, more about what it represents. From Zero to BJ to Nairo, any point of this entire thing, you can always come back to this point, which is taking accountability. For Zero, it was Tentacles trying to walk back the accountability that Zero had already taken. For Nairo, it was Tentacles trying to make him take accountability. And for BJ, for him and his brother's lack of accountability. Because whenever either one of them, especially Tentacles, apologizes, it's always, yes, I take accountability. But these minors did this. I fucked up, but Zaptai? It seems very disingenuous to me. And I personally believe a commentator, especially in the high regards of Tentacles, should not even have these issues. I personally believe if you're a commentator, especially one as ruthless as Tentacles, no matter if they're friends, family, or just a random ass person online, you should be able to criticize them. At least make a tweet about them, not this bitch ass response where you basically walk back everything they did. Because realistically, if you can't call out your brother, and at least in a tweet saying what he did was fucked up and you do not support him, then you shouldn't be allowed to criticize anyone at all. At least in cases like these, which involve...
Okay, I would reword that. What I would say is, because like it is a tall ask, like, oh, if you can't call it your brother, then you can't really call it anybody. All right, asking him to call it his brother, especially for shit like this, is like a pretty tall order to ask. What I would say instead is, maybe this guy shouldn't be the one running the investigation videos on the Smash community, given what the closest people around him are accused of. You know what I mean? Like, that's more how I would word it. Like, maybe you should just do other types of videos, right? Because asking him to call out his brother, that's kind of like a crazy ask for it. Like, oh, just call out your, you know, your own blood. It's like, I don't know, man. That's a little bit of a tall order. I don't know.
Of minor safety and sexual assault. And regardless of how many times you said you called out your brother or you denounced his claims or even denounced him, it still doesn't make up for you shouting him out in podcasts and videos, letting him network with some of the biggest commentary channels of this era, supporting his TikToks, and being in his community Discord server with over 2,000 13 to 17-year-olds. Do you not understand how terrible that makes you look? If you
Wait, how do you know the whole server's 13 to 17-year-olds? That's...
had to call out your brother for sending dick pics to minors and allowing
the group chat got a lot bigger
environment where he can be around minors, regardless if he did it or not. That's just a terrible, terrible look. Are you seriously that fucking stupid to not realize that? And hell, I completely understand that it's your brother. Regardless of what he's done, you're still gonna be there for him. And I completely get that. But in the public, you are not Brennan. You are Tentacles. And your brother isn't BJ. He is PixelDrink. So instead of not supporting your brother BJ, do not support PixelDrink, or at least denounce him and not associate yourself with him. No matter how much you try to get past this and make people forget, it's still going to come up time and time again, and you are going to be one of the main people that is going to be revolving around around this drama, the more he grows and the more you grow, the more this is going to be coming back into the public eye. And I can promise you that next time this comes up, you will not get out as easily as you have so far. So there's two things you could do. One, you could do what I told you not to do, completely ignore it, but it'll come back up eventually. Or two, the thing I would do, and the thing I think you should do, publicly denounce your brother, do not associate with him anymore, at least on social media, refrain from making videos talking about sexual assault or pedophilia, because regardless, just like Pyrocynical, regardless of if you make good points or not, the fans of the people that you call out, and the person could just point back to this situation and say that you're biased. Apparently, Tech, I don't have enough numbers to even talk to you, so what the hell do I know? It's just what I think is best for you. As a fan of who you used to be and what you used to stand for, I would love to see you go back to your old ways. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.
Okay.
God.
Interesting video. Definitely had some flaws in it. But yeah, brought up some interesting points, I think. So let's see how he responded to it, because he did drop a response. It's only like 4 minutes long.
Hey guys, this video I'm going to be responding to some allegations that were levied at me about a year and a half ago concerning some events that occurred 4 to 5 years ago. Now, I already responded to these allegations when they came out, but since leaving the Smash community, moving to TikTok, changing my username, making different styles of content, a lot of people didn't know what happened and they weren't able to find the original response. So I'm going to be responding to it again, but this will be the last time I'm responding to this stuff. The first is flashing my group chat. This did happen, never denied it. It was meant to be like a shock value joke, but since I've been going to therapy and working on myself as a person, that type of shit is just not funny and it's fucking nasty. And then drawing hentai of the group members that were in the chat that were minors at the time, also meant to be an inside joke between just us, but that's just nasty. What the fuck was I thinking? There was also a drawing I made of Ness from Earthbound, but this was a drawing that I had posted to my other group chat with my just 2 friends, and I thought it was funny because, oh, it's my main character in Smash Bros. Look at him. I had a fucked up sense of humor at that time, but that's why it's fucked up. Like, it's not funny. And then when I was 19, I was in a relationship with someone who was 17, and then it was like around my birthday, so I turned 20, so 2017, whatever you want to say. We only dated for like 4 or 5 months. We never did anything sexual or exchanged explicit images or anything like that, but it did happen. So that's all the stuff I've taken accountability for, all the stuff I've done. And now let's cover the stuff that is not true. So my ex-girlfriend Sarah said a couple things. She said that I raped her. This simply just didn't happen. And I've already written a lengthy document explaining the entire situation, and it's linked below, so if you want to read up on that, you can. But the short answer is just, it didn't happen. As for the other stuff she said, like me literally saying I was gonna rape her, never said that. Her saying that I thought her voice sounded cute like a lowly, never said that. She also brought up a rumor of me having sex with a 15-year-old, which doesn't make sense to me because it's literally has no evidence, unfounded rumor, and just like threw it in there for no reason. And it's not true, so can't tell you why she said that. Now that covers all the allegations. Now what have I done since these allegations came forward again? Well, a year and a half ago when I initially responded to the allegation, I left the Smash community. I left the internet entirely. I started going to therapy, and I've been going to therapy ever since, and it's been wildly helpful for my growth as a person and my maturity and just mental health in general. And it's helped me work through a lot of my issues with like doing crazy shock value shit and doing really irresponsible shit.
Yeah, notice how he says lowly, like he doesn't know what that is or something.
And after taking an extended break from the internet and working on myself personally to grow, I made a return to TikTok, started doing the My Hero Academia stuff, and then the rest is history. There was that small incident with me posting a picture of Ochaka Uraraka, which was censored, and in that instance, I literally like just forgot, like, oh fuck, it's like an anime character, they're in high school. I should have like got a picture of Mount Lady or something. Because I truly do care about the community that I built, and I want to be a role model for you guys, and I want you guys to take this as an example of someone who has made mistakes in the past. I've done some really stupid shit. I have grown from them, so I want you to take me as an example of how to learn from your mistakes. And I want to continue to support you guys by making funny videos, making you laugh, because it's just something I really love to do. I was put on this earth to make people laugh and spread joy. That's what I truly believe my life's purpose is. So I'm not going to be leaving YouTube or TikTok. I'm going to keep uploading videos, keep streaming, and keep having fun, because it's something I love to do. And I hope you guys continue to enjoy the videos and streams as well.
Again, I encourage you to look at my original response. It'll be linked below, and the written response that I made that will also be linked below. The written response is in reference to Sarah's allegations, and the video response is in relation to the group chat and the hentai and stuff. And like I said, this is going to be the last time I'm responding to this stuff because it's in my past. I've moved on from it. If anything you've heard today makes you dislike me or you don't want to watch the videos anymore, perfectly understandable. I can understand why this might turn someone off to wanting to view my content. I hope you continue to watch the videos because they're gonna be funny, bro. They're gonna be funny. So yeah, I think that just about covers everything. And thank you guys for watching, taking your time out of your day. And I'll see you in the next video.
Okay. Short, succinct, and to the point. I mean, probably about the best response I could have given, right?
Smith funded $5. What being terminally online does to MF. Jesus, the Smash community's another level of cringe.
Yeah, tell me about it. Lolly is kind of funny. Fucked up sense of humor. Therapy for what? That's a good question. That's what I was asking. I was like, if it's just a joke, why would you have to go to therapy, right? But I mean, I don't know. Lolly.
Smoosty funded $2.17. Yo, Augie, how do you do that with the YouTube window?
Oh, a YouTube window? I'm going to show you a little magic trick, okay? So you click on a video, and why won't it work? You double right click, and then you can do this. You don't need an extension, that's just built in. He went to the, yeah, therapist. Good one, dude. Good one, buddy. That's a really good joke. I think people were telling him it's fucked up, and then he decided to go to therapy when people were calling him out. Yeah, I mean, maybe he went to therapy just like reevaluate his like life or something. Maybe he's like, am I like a fucked up person or something? Maybe I should go to therapy. I don't know. What is therapy gonna do? Tell you, yeah, drawing children sexually is wrong. I guess. I don't know. What's up, Hopeless Peaches? Why pay for therapy if you don't think you need it? Yeah, I don't know. The therapy is... Every time I don't know. I don't know. We talked about this yesterday. I'm like, why would you need to go to therapy if it's just like a meme or like a joke or something, right? Maybe therapy can help you stop seeking attention by behaving negatively. Yeah, I mean, obviously that didn't happen. He still loves attention. He has a fucking TikTok career and stuff like that now. Oh my God, that's the other thing that pissed me off too, right? The fact that like when I called him out, people were like, Tech's brother isn't a public figure. You can't do that. And then we find out he has like a TikTok channel with like 1 million followers. He streams on Twitch every night to hundreds of viewers. He has a fucking giant YouTube channel where he uploaded a video that got 300,000 views like last week. You know, we find out Tech's brother is actually like a bigger content creator than me, Nick, Willie Mac, Dumpy, Turkey Tom, all of us like fucking combined. You know? It's like, oh yeah, private figure my ass. I had people on Twitter telling me that, like mutuals of mine on Twitter who were like, you're going after somebody who's a private figure. And I had to say stuff like, well, I mean, he was in the Smash community. He was well known in there. He's in Tech's videos and stuff like that without even realizing that he is a bigger fucking content creator than all of us combined. And I'm just sitting there like, oh my fucking God. Every time I find out that all of these arguments just fall completely apart, I just like mauled so hard because I'm like, wow. So people knew this dishonest shit and they still used it against me. I'm just fucking good one. I don't know. But this is why I fucking hate the internet, man. This is why I hate YouTubers. I hate the internet because everybody is a lying sack of shit. Even if he didn't have that TikTok channel, Tech, in my opinion, Tech's brother is just as much of a public figure as like Connor is. You know what I mean? I would consider Connor a public figure. If somebody made a video on Connor, like shit talked Connor, I wouldn't say like, oh, you can't go after him. He's not a public figure. Well, what do you mean? He has a fucking Twitter account. He has a YouTube channel where he talks about and gives his opinions on shit. He's pretty much a public figure, right? You don't have to be a big YouTuber to not be a public figure.